Hey kids, I'm on, just waiting for you. When I get like 4 or 5 of you on, we'll start this process. Who do we have on? Hey, Christine. Okay, we're going to wait for a few more of you guys to come on, and then we're going to do my turkey meatloaf, which I've, spruced up a little bit with some roasted potatoes, and we're going to do some sauteed Brussels sprouts and bacon with a balsamic demi-glaze. So I'm waiting for a few more of you guys to come on that said you were popping on. So let's see what happens in the next couple minutes. Got all my prep. I have some Carole King playing in the background. So now I've got 2 of you on. I don't know which 2 of you, but I've got 2 of you on. Now 3 of you. So how's everybody doing on this Easter Eve? Saturday. I'm going to see what, Carole King is kind of depressing me, so I'm going to change her. Let's do a little Lisa Stansfield again. Okay. So let's see, I've got 2 of you on. I've got the oven preheating to 375 for this turkey meatloaf, which I'm going to spruce it up a little bit, and I'm using, hey Franco, come stai? I'm using organic turkey this time instead of ground beef. And we're going to add some mushrooms, some roasted peppers, some leeks, fresh parsley, a little bit of fresh garlic. Actually, I'm going to use the garlic for the potatoes. I'm going to get that out too. And then we're going to do we're going to be doing some roasted potatoes. That's going to go in with the meatloaf. Once that's baking, hold on, I've got hold on 1 second here, guys. Hey, Steven, how are you? Hold on, I gotta respond to this text. Okay, there we go. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are doing a turkey meatloaf, which is going to be done with organic ground turkey. It's actually about it's about 1.25 pounds of ground turkey instead of regular ground beef. Hold on, I gotta change that. Okay, there we go. That's more soothing. Okay, so basically what I have here is I have about 1.25 pounds of ground turkey, okay? I have, these are cremini mushrooms. Hey, Philip. So I have some cremini mushrooms. It's actually about a half of I guess a pint of the cremini mushrooms. These are roasted peppers, which I bought the jar. Goya actually has the best. They're actually marinated with just a little bit of brine. But what I do is, and a little bit of oil, I actually took out one, because the peppers, believe it or not, are like this big that are in that jar. I dice them up and I rinse them off in a colander just to get that you know, because it sometimes has a little bit of sourness to it. I've got the fresh parsley, and it's Italian. It's the Italian leaf parsley. It's not the curly parsley. And there's about two big handfuls of that, because we're going to use that for a couple things. We're going to be doing Brussels sprouts as well, with bacon and fresh shallots and a balsamic demi-glaze. I've got rosemary and fresh oregano from the garden. And we're going to do a medley of roasted potatoes that are actually going to go in with the meatloaf halfway through it cooking. So I'm going to take this off, first of all. So what we're going to do is I have, over here, I have the shallots and the leeks. The shallots are going to be for the Brussels sprouts. The leeks are going to be for the turkey meatloaf. And I have a half a wheel of smoked Gouda cheese. Hey, Gabby. A half a wheel of smoked Gouda cheese, which is actually going to go with the turkey meatloaf. I thought about lasagna. I know I had a request for that yesterday, but I wanted to do this turkey meatloaf instead. So, like I said, we've got a pound and a quarter of ground turkey. We've got about a half of pint of the of cremini mushrooms, which are diced pretty fine. So that's, hey Dave Hughes, so that's going in there. We've got about, this is about a quarter cup of leeks. So what I'm going to do with, where are my, hold on, I have, losing my mind here, guys. I know I had it. Okay, sorry guys. These are my green onions, I'm sorry. I thought they were my leeks. So we're going to put, in here was 2 green onions, so I'm actually going to put half of what I cut in with the meatloaf. We're going to do half of the leeks is gone in with the meatloaf as well, because these are also, we're going to do with the potatoes as well. Okay? Roasted peppers. Like I said, 1 large roasted pepper from the jar, diced very fine, then I rinse it off in a colander to get the brine off. That's going in the turkey meatloaf mixture too. And then, like I said, parsley. There's 2 huge handfuls that are diced very fine. So I'm going to put, let's say we're going to put about a little more than half of that in there, okay? I'm not going to put garlic in this. This is where the fun comes in. We're going to add a little bit of garlic salt. Okay, not too much. I'll pass on the turkey meatloaf. You know what, Dave? A couple turns of the Himalayan pink salt. That's going in there. Does Uber Eats deliver to? Ha ha ha! You're funny. The white and black cracked pepper. We're gonna do some spins on that. Okay. Like when you're making like meatballs, I add eggs. I'm not gonna add eggs to this. Because then it seems to get a little bit too mushy. It doesn't cook as well as it usually does. Hey Aunt Mary. So if you guys just catching in right now, I have a pound and a quarter of, just turn, what are you making? I'm making turkey meatloaf, but I'm jazzing it up. So I've got a pound and a quarter of organic ground turkey. I've got half a pint of cremini mushrooms, which are diced very fine. I've got 1 huge roasted pepper that's diced as well in there. Some fresh leeks, some fresh scallions, which are green onions. Some salt and pepper, garlic salt, and then I have a half a wheel of, I'm going to put this aside, I have a half a wheel of smoked Gouda cheese. You can do whatever cheese you want, but I think just the smoked Gouda gives it a really good flavor, and it's actually not going to make it, because mozzarella has, has a lot of moisture in it sometimes. So I'm basically slicing this down, and then what we're going to do is we're going to slice it in half again, all 5 pieces. Be careful not to cut yourself. And we're going to cube it. And then, Aunt Mary, we're also doing sauteed Brussels sprouts on the stove with fresh shallots and bacon. And that is going to be in a balsamic demi-glaze. So just break up this cheese with your hands. I mean, it's all going to come out in little cubes. And that's going into the meatloaf. The turkey meatloaf. If the music's too loud, guys, let me know. So that's going in with the meatloaf. So now you got this whole mixture here. I'm going to add, like, literally, like, it's not even like a quarter of a cup of breadcrumbs. It's going to actually hold, it's going to hold the meatloaf. And here comes the fun part. This is where you get your hands dirty. And you're just going to mix everything together. It actually looks like Christmas in this bowl. With the peppers and the parsley. So getting that all mixed up. I mean, it smells beautiful. Like Rachel Ray always says, if there's smell-o-vision, you know, you guys would be crazy. So you kind of want to form this as much as you can. I'm using a big bowl. So I'm kind of forming this as much as I can. And I'm going to just be very careful when you take it out. Okay? So this is going in a large Pyrex. This is, I'm going to say, this is a 9 by 14 pan. I usually use a meatloaf pan, but I'm actually going to roast the potatoes halfway through the meatloaf cooking. So let me wash my hands real fast. I'm going to show you what this bad boy looks like. So, oh, we got a little bit of extra here. We're just going to pop that right on top. No one's going to know the difference. You rinse this out. Okay, so we have, that's what your meatloaf is going to look like. When I do like a regular Italian kind of meatloaf, you know, it's basically, it's peppers and onions and, you know, sometimes I put mushrooms in. Hey, Angelina, how are you? John, you need to do your own cooking channel. Yeah, I know, but I have to work otherwise besides that. So unless I'm getting paid for it up front, it's going to be hard to do. So we had the meatloaf. I'm going to actually let this rest because that's the other thing too. Anytime you guys cook meat, whether it's a burger, whether it's a steak, filet, you got to have it room temperature before you put it in the oven, on the pan, whatever, because it actually shocks the meat and it actually freezes up and it actually starts to make it tough before you even actually cook it. So we've got the meatloaf sitting over here, the turkey meatloaf. We're going to do the potatoes, and what I have is, I've got a variety of potatoes. So I've got one, like, large red potato left from, last week. So I just trim off the little pieces of that. And this is a big one, so I'm going to cut this in threes, and we're going to cube this the same way. Okay? Oh, we lost one. Have a little mixing bowl on the side here, like this. Because we're actually going to, I'm going to throw this out. We're actually going to mix the potatoes. And actually what I'm going to do for now, sorry, real fast. I'm going to add a little bit of chicken stock just to the bottom of this meatloaf pan, just for a little bit of moisture. Okay? We're actually going to pop that in the oven. The oven's going at 375 now. So that's what the meatloaf looks like before. I'm going to pop it in, and we're going to pull it out halfway through. Hey, Mom, my mother-in-law's on the phone here to torture you. Please stay safe. I know, Mom, I am. So I'm going to put this in the oven. So actually, you know, we're going to, that's on 375. So we're going to put that on for, let's say, 25 minutes for now. Go back to cutting the potatoes. So we're thirding these as well, okay? So that's going in there. Then I have the purple potatoes. So basically you're just going to cut it in half, and you're going to cut it in half again. So on and so forth. Well, that just fell into... Well, we lost that purple one. That fell into a candle that I had burning, so that's going in the trash. I've got more. Do that again. We're gonna... But I got wax now on my countertops. Same. And like I said, I'm not doing a lot of these, but look, the inside's almost like, it's like plum colored. The purple potatoes. And then I just have your basic whites. Your little mini Yukon Gold. So they're going in there. Okay. I'll clean that wax up later. And then I have fresh rosemary and fresh oregano from the garden. We'll throw these pieces out. So you're just going to strip it. I mean, you can go to wherever your grocery store is and get the rosemary and the whatever that's already done, but, you know, I've got it growing wild now in the backyard. Same with the rosemary. You're going to pick that apart. This is all going to go into the potatoes, which we're going to add halfway through the turkey meatloaf that's cooking. So, literally, you're going to chop this, you know, as fine as you can pretty much get it. If you guys are good with a knife, you can actually see what, you know, I'm doing here. Just be very, I mean, I have very, very, very sharp knives. Very sharp knives. So, I mean, I'm trying to make this as fine as I can. So we have our, I'm going to dump this in with the mixture. We have the purple potatoes, the red potatoes, and I have the Yukon Gold, which are all mixed together here at this point. So that's going to go in halfway through the meatloaf cooking instead of me putting in a regular meatloaf pan. Like I said, I love fresh garlic, but for this, you know, this is, you know, just minced garlic. So we're going to add, like, half a teaspoon of that is going in that bowl. Get this aside here. I'm going to add, let's say, a quarter of a cup of oil. I'm not using olive oil, just because it's going to be cooking with the meatloaf. I don't want it to be too pungent. So earlier, guys, we had the shallots, and we had the green onions, the scallions. So the scallions are actually going to go into the potato mixture. So basically, that was one scallion that was left. Then the leeks, okay? That's about, I don't know, 2 tablespoons of leeks. That's going in there as well. Get a big spoon. We're just going to mix all of this together. And then we're actually going to let this rest. I'm actually going to pop this in the fridge. I'm actually going to hit this with some salt and pepper. And then we'll start prepping the Brussels sprouts and the bacon. Hey, Joanne. This looks gorgeous. If you guys, you know, I'll show you guys in a minute, but it looks beautiful. Himalayan salt. Couple turns. Don't leave garlic salt because there's garlic in there. White and black pepper. Okay? Couple turns of that. The rest of that parsley, remember you guys, I said I had the Italian parsley, the flat leaf, and I did 2 big handfuls. That's going in the potatoes. This is actually a very colorful dish. I do this as well with a potato salad. My mother does an Italian potato salad, which there's no mayonnaise. It's all, you know, there's vinegar, a little bit of oil, everything. But, you know, this is a gorgeous dish. I'm going to let you see Look how beautiful that looks. The color, everything. So this is going to go in halfway through when the turkey meatloaf is half done. So I'm actually going to cover this. And then I'm going to start to prep the Brussels sprouts because I'm going to pop off for a little bit once I do this. And then I'll come back on like 20 minutes before the meatloaf's done. Maybe, yeah, probably 20 minutes before the meatloaf's done. And we'll continue with the Brussels sprouts. So the Brussels sprouts, these are enormous. Like the biggest Brussels sprouts. Hey, Allison. The biggest Brussels sprouts I've seen in a long time. So what I did was, and this was like one of those pint containers. So rinsed them off, and this was my grandmother's colander. That's how old this thing is. So what I'm going to do with the Brussels sprouts is, these I can actually put to the side. Those are the shallots that are going to go into the Brussels sprouts. So just cut off that end piece of the Brussels sprout, and instantly the outer layer is going to fall off. Just get rid of that. You don't need it. Okay? Some of them, you know, fall off right away. Some don't. So how's everybody doing while I'm chopping all of this fun stuff here? See, now that has a little funkiness on it, so we're going to cut that part off too. And then I'm going to cut these in half. You guys will see that as well. Because basically, by the time you're done, they're almost going to be shavings. But this first layer literally just comes right off. You know, and that has a lot of dirt in it, even though I've rinsed them. That's why I cut that extra layer off. See, this one too. So let's cut a little bit of that off. Get rid of that. We have Billie Holiday playing in the background there. You guys know I love to listen to my jazz, whatever, while I'm cooking and cleaning. Hey, Jason. How are you, handsome? Avery is just left China, or he's headed to China. I get so confused at these points. He was in Alaska. He went to China. And then he's coming back, he's doing his route again, and he's going to Chicago. But he's gone until the second week of May. He's going to wish I was cooking with you. I know, Allison, I miss you so much. I really do, I miss you so much. I wish you were here too. He's going to be gone until the middle of May. Because they said that, you know, even though he doesn't have actual contact with people, really, because he's doing the cargo flights, if he came home, he'd have to be home for 14 days in, you know, isolation, I guess, even though that, hold on one second, I'm going to dump these. Even though that he is COVID-free at this point. He would have to be 14 days not working and then go back out again. It's not worth it. He's going to go straight through. So, I know. Life is boring in California. Yeah, I wish it would rain here. We need rain so bad. It's crazy. My grass is like becoming like turf at this point. So Brussels sprouts, the whole Brussels sprout. Get rid of the strainer. The meatloaf already smells good. So we're going to cut the Brussels sprout in half, basically. And that's actually, you know, we're going to cut this again because they're so big. Because like I said, these are going to end up being like shaved Brussels sprouts. So I'm actually quartering these whole, and they don't have to be perfect. I mean, it's, you know, they're all going to reduce anyway to whatever they are. Because they will fall apart once they're starting to saute. So get rid of that. And that one is not a good one. I'm not feeling that one. Hold on, guys. Okay. What do you do with the salmon, and will you eat your meals periodically during the week? Oh, with the salmon I made last night, 80. What I did was I actually the other half, I actually made a salmon salad today at lunch, just very quick, nothing major. I actually kind of reheated the salmon just in the microwave, which, you know, I'm not a big microwave person. Just for like 30 seconds, just to get it a little bit warmed. And then I just put it over salad. Just like regular spring mix, whatever, and added my balsamic vinaigrette. That was pretty much it. Yeah, I eat my... I'm trying to cook for you guys because I'll have this for 2 days. So those are our Brussels sprouts. Okay, at this point. I'm going to get rid of this, because this is all trash. So, what we're going to do is, we're going to take these shallots. So this was half of a medium-sized shallot that we diced up. That's going in with the Brussels sprouts, okay? The bacon I'm not going to put in there just because it's raw bacon at this point. I'm going to add, let's say, I don't know, a tablespoon and a half of oil. I'm going to salt and pepper these. And this is the white and black pepper that I get, that I love. Like, literally like a drop of salt, because you're going to have the salt from the bacon. But I did get low sodium bacon. And with the bacon for the Brussels sprouts, get the thick cut, and you guys will see that when I pop back on and start sauteing these, because these don't take very long, maybe 15-20 minutes on the stove. I do bake these as well, but it's just as easy to do it on the stove. So I'm actually going to saran wrap the Brussels sprouts. I'm going to do a little recap, and then I'm going to cut off for about 15 minutes or so. It's still early. It's only 5 to 6. And then we'll check on the meatloaf, and we'll add the roasted potato mixture to the meatloaf, because it's going to be half cooked at that point. So just to recap for you guys, just catching up. In the oven now, I have a turkey meatloaf. And what I did with the turkey meatloaf... Oh, guys, and by the way, Goya, these are those roasted peppers I was telling you about. They're really, really good. It says pimentos, but it's not. It's the whole red roasted pepper. Anyway, what I did was 1.25 pounds, maybe 1.33 pounds of organic ground turkey instead of using beef. I've had enough beef in the past couple days. So 1.25 pounds to 1.5 pounds of that. I did a 1/2 pint of a container of cremini mushrooms. I diced them very fine. I put in about 1/4 cup of diced leeks, 1/4 cup of green onion scallions, salt, pepper, garlic salt, 1 big roasted pepper, which I diced down and then rinsed off. Hey, Mary Margaret. I rinsed off the brine from the peppers because I don't want that flavor. Wilbur. I don't want that flavor in with the meatloaf. And then I did a small wheel of smoked Gouda cheese, and I cubed that into pieces as well. So real fast, I'll show you guys. That's actually in the oven now at 375. Just so you guys can see what it looks like, because we're going to pop back on a little bit. So that's what the meatloaf looks like now. Okay, it's starting to cook in the oven. And actually, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pump this up. It's got 10 minutes left before I have to check it again. I'm actually going to pump this up to 400. And then we're going to check that in about 10-15 minutes. I also did a variety of potatoes. So you can never have enough meat. You are too funny. So in here, besides the meatloaf, We've got purple potatoes, red potatoes, and Yukon Gold. And they're the small ones, except for the red pepper. The red pepper. The red potato was a big one, so I diced it up. So in here I have fresh parsley, I have leeks, and I have the scallions again. So that's in here with some fresh garlic, oil, salt, pepper, parsley, done. Because halfway through this meatloaf, this is actually going to go into the same roasting pan as the meatloaf is. And then I have the Brussels sprouts, which we're going to saute with the Brussels sprouts with bacon and a little bit of butter. It's going to be finished off in a balsamic demi-glaze that I'm going to make from scratch as well. So for now, it's 6 o'clock. I'm going to pop back on at 6:15. Yeah, let's say 6:15 we'll pop back on, and then we'll get to making the Brussels sprouts, and we'll check on the meatloaf and the potatoes at the same time. So I will talk to you guys soon, okay? Check back with me about 6:15, 6:20. I'll talk to you in a bit. Bye.